So I welcome you all once again. Uh, we'll try to understand few more concepts of this static array that we were left yesterday. So if you remember yesterday, we were like, this is my array. We have declared this, and we need to get the values of all the indexes like I0, I1. So I was doing like this, like console I0, right line I3, I2, I5, like that. But what if there are like the value is like 40 or 400? In that case, like is it possible to write, like if you need to get the value of like I 355 or like each and every value of like array, then it is not possible to like write in single line every time, write dot console I1, I0, I2, I3, I4, I5, and so on. So for that we should be like we need to use the loops that we like discussed in previous classes, like we have understood for loop and while loop and all. So by using loops we can get all the values that we have assigned to an array. Let us see how we can do. So like this is my requirements: print all the values of array. uh, yeah, this may be an interview question. Print all the values from an array. Okay. Okay. So loop will help to get value from continuous memory allocation. Okay. So like as we discussed yesterday, the memory allocation inside this would be continuous. After zero, there would be one. After one, there would be two. There would be three. Okay, inside the memory. So loop will get the values from continuous memory allocation. So let us say let's define one more. Let us say I2, or let us say j is equal to new int, and let us say the size of this is 5. So we have defined an array. This is the format, like always use these brackets. Okay, semicolon. Yeah. And this is the reference variable. This is new keyword to allocate the memory, and this is the type. Basically integer is the type of an array. So all the values would be integer only. Like you cannot give the values like this: j0 is equal to, let us say, Ankit. You cannot do like this, because this is what type of value we can store inside this: only integer type of values, because this array is of integer type, so we can store values like this only. Okay, this is also kind of limitation for this, like we cannot store the like random values. Okay, now let me assign some values. Let us say j0 is equal to 10, j1 20, or j2 30, or j3, let us say 40. Okay, and 1 2 3, how many values can we store maximum? I already have told you, like how many values you can store inside this. So like from 0 to 4, you can store 0 to 4. All index will always start from 0, 0 1 2 3 and 4. So the 5 value maximum you can store. So the length of this is 5, and the lowest index is this, and the highest index is 4. Okay, length minus 1, length is 5. Okay, like what will happen if you store like this? Let us say 50, j5 is equal to 60. What will happen in this case? So there would be no compile time error. You can see there is no as such error. But like in memory, let's understand this from the perspective of memory, what is happening inside the memory. So for an example, you have declared this an array, and like you created for different, yeah, this is the thing you have like this is the thing you have defined inside an memory. For an example, this is 0, let us say 1, or it's better to use, yeah. So here is, you have 0 1 2 third index, okay, and fourth. So like only four block memory has been stored from 0 to 4, because you have defined the size like this only, okay. So the 0 on 0, the value of the j0 is like j would be the reference variable for all, okay. J would be referring all the variables, and the value also like for 0th index we have stored 10, here 20, 30, and so on, like value 50 we have stored over here. But now what you are trying to achieve, you are trying to give one more value over here. You can say over here you can try to store one more value like 60. But my question is that, do you really have memory for 60? No, you don't have memory, because your array size is only of fifth. Your array can consume only five, like level 5 values, okay. But like if you try to assign one more value to it, this will not be having any space inside the memory, okay. Your array length is only of fifth, and you trying to assert, store sixth variable inside this, and this will not allowed. So there is no as such error, but when you will print this, let us say, let's separate this so that you can easily analyze the output. For an example, I want to print Z5, okay, and analyze what kind of value or error or whatever you're going to get. So this is getting executed. So let us see the output, like what you will get to know. I think there is an exception behind. Yeah. So this is the exception. Index out of range exception. Because you already know that why we are getting this exception. So let's stop this. Yeah. So you get index out of range exception. So the range of your index is only up to this, okay, only J4, because you can store only 5 values. But you are trying to assign one more value, so you'll get index out of range exception. Always remember this. Now, so here let me try to print, like if I need to print all the values, then I'll print like this J0, or like if I need to print the next value, like I need to put it like that, and so on. So it's not like it's not a good idea to print each and every line like in this way. So for that we can use loop, we can introduce loop concept for here. So let's try to get each and every value using for loop. Okay, so this is the index of for loops. Let's say we have k, variable name is k. Okay, now, so from where our index will start, this always start from 0, okay, and this is for the length. So let us say we have length is like 4, okay, length is 4. But you can see our length is 5. Here we have 5, but like, do you need? I'll explain this later. So first, try to get the values. Uh, Write console dot write line. Let us say k. You have z, and you need to assign the value of k over here. So now how this will work? First, the value of k is 0. So j and k, this will be like this j0. So j0 would be 10. Similarly, this will get, the value will get increased by 1, and this would be like k1 next time, j1, and the value of j1 is 20, 30. And like when the value would be 3, j3, okay, we will get uh, like j3 would be 40, and now the value would be increased by 1. Now it would be j4, but you know this is like 4 is less than 4, so this would be wrong. So first we need to use the great less than equals to, so that we can get the value of 4. Also, this is not a good practice to use like static value over here. Always try to get the dynamic value like this, j dot length. Okay, so okay, this is now like completely dynamic thing, because anyone like user in future may change this value. He may make it to 15 or 10 or whatever, but our loop will not get affected because we are dynamically calculating the value of length, not static like 4 and 5 we are providing over here. So now, so the length is 5. So 5 4, but in this case this will also try to calculate the value of j5. So we need to, we there are two ways to do that. We may take like length minus 1 either. Okay, k is less than equal to length minus 1, or just say k is less than j point, not equal to operator, because when the value would be 5, because length is 5, 5 is less than, the value is 4, and a 5 is less than 5, that would be that wrong statement and will come out of the loop. So in this way, if you use this kind of for loop, then we can extract each and every value from here. Let us say execute it and analyze the output, what the output that we have received. Okay, just wait for the output. Yes, I hope we got the output. Yes, it's 10, 20, 30. We get the correct output. So yes, this is the way. This is the actual use of loop. So to get the iterative values, okay, we need not to write each and every print statement like print j1, j2, j3 and all. No, just use a single loop and get the values like this. Okay, so I hope you have understood this concept. Let me know you if you have any question. Other than that, in the session of loops, I have explained you like for loop and while loop. At that time I told you that we will also discuss for each loop. There is one more loop called for each loop at the time of array sessions. Okay, so let us understand that as well. So that is the like the loop I like most, for each loop. For each loop, okay, so let's say for each loop. So this is nothing but enhanced for loop. This is the part of for loop or brother of for loop, kind of we can say. Enhanced for loop, nothing else. Okay. Let me explain you the syntax of that. So just you need to write for each, and there is a suggestion from C sharp, and just click on tab button, double tap. Okay. So this is the syntax of for each loop. This is nothing like but like a enhanced for loop, a different format of for loop in which you not need to define like the starting index, the length, increment, decrement. No, everything will be there in the background. So here we need to give the value of collection. Collection means the array variable. Collection means like all the value, where are all the values present. So all the values, this j is referring all the values. So we need to put j over here. Okay, and this word is like generic data type. Here we have integer type of data type. So let us say integer. Okay, and this item is a new keyword, new variable we can say. So item, or we can take, we can give any name to it like e, I, anything, whatever you want, you can take it. Okay, so let us say e called for element. Okay, now what, how this will work? This e will get each and every value from this j. This j have j0, j1, j2, j3, j4, like 10, 20, 30, 40. This j have 5 values. So this e will take all the 5 values from this j. E in j. In, this is like the keyword you need to remember. This is the format, and here we need to define the data type. You cannot take a string over here. If you try to take a string, then this will be like an error. It's saying cannot convert type into a string, because this is j is of integer type. So always try to take the correct data type, because our array is of integer data type. Yes, tomorrow if you want to define, a string type of array, at that time you will need to took a string data type over here. Okay, now it's very simple, just print. Let us print the values of e and see like Let's separate this as well. Okay, okay, guys. So you can check that. Yeah. So you just have taken in for each loop where this is just a syntax of for each loop, and let's execute it and see the output. It's very easy to use, and like first see the output, then we'll talk about more. Yeah. So we should get exact output as we get for that for loop. Yeah, you see 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah. So you see it's very easy. Internally it's working like for loop only, but it's very easy because we need not to write all these conditional statements. We like that developer may make some mistake at the time of like script writing. So it's easy to use for each. What you need to write, just give the reference variable of array and define your own variable, put in keyword and get all the values. See like how easy it is. So E will go to each and every variable of E will go to each and every variable of J and get the value from J. Okay, and like performance wise both are same because they are internally they are working like same. So there is no as much like performance issues with both those. Almost they are like similar. Okay, so this is called enhanced for loop or for each loop. Got it? Okay. Let me know if you have a question so far, Aswini. Just see, Aswini, you have any question? Can we go ahead?
No question.
Okay, okay, that's great. So let us understand. So here we have declared an integer array. This is int j is equal to new int. Let's define and let us say double array. Okay, how to define double array? Instead of integer, let's take double, and this sign is for this sign is for variable, and let us say d is equal to new double. Okay. In double you can store double kind of values and even integer. Okay, even integer you may store over here d5. Okay, now you have 10.11 or like 20.1. Okay, 3.00, or you may have like 40 and 50 directly. So integer kind of value directly store inside the double because this like is treating these values like this 50.00, but we can define like this only. So yeah, this is way we can define the values like this. Can you define d5 is equal to something like 12.22, 12.22, let us say. Can you do like this? Yes, you can do it over here, but at the runtime, what kind of exception you will get? You will get index out of range exception because our range of our index is from 0 to 4 because we are taking only 5 values 0 to 4. If you are trying to assign one more value, then at the runtime this will going to say like index out of range exception. Here at compile time there is no as such error. Okay, because like a compiler is not aware about the memory. Okay. Now, if you want to, let us say this is your double array. If you want to declare a character array, then what you need to do, it's also like it's very easy. Let us say character array. Char c is equal to new char. Okay. So this is also, let us say the size is, we have only 3. And if you need to give the values, let us say a, let us say b, and we will change it accordingly. Let's say dollar and 1. Okay. Now if you need to get the values, if you need to print all the values using for each loop, then just use for each. Okay, and instead of var we need to take char and item unit you can take E, and collection is this time we are taking C. Okay, it's very easy to use. And print, what we need to print over here? Let's print E. Okay, execute it and analyze the output. Okay, so we should get the correct output. Yeah, you get a dollar and one. The output is correct. We like get each and every. For double type also, if you need to get like each and every value, you just use for each loop. It's very easy to use. Use double instead of integer or var item E, and the collection name is D, and simply print. You what you need to print, you just simply print the value of E. So you notice one thing, like we can take inside the for each loop, we can take similar kind of variable name. Just like for here as well, we took E as an variable name. Here as well, we took E as an variable name. So like this is not showing any error. So because the scope of this limited to this loop only, this is not functioning outside this loop. That's why we can take. But for an example, if you have declared any variable with the E, then you cannot take name. Let's example, if you have declared a variable called j, integer j is equal to new integer, or let us say if you declared a new variable called declare, let us say integer e is equal to 10. Okay, this is you have declared a variable. That time this will show an error because you already have defined a variable with the e name. So this will be confused. Other than that, if you don't have any variable, then you can use this variable name with as many as for each loop as you want. Okay. Okay, so this is like I told you the scope, and this E refers to item, or let us say an element, whatever you want to pronounce it. Okay, so you have understood the integer array, double array, character array. So let us understand, let us say this is our character array. Okay, let us say string array. Okay, understand the string array. This is similar to like all above. We need to define a string. So no need to like, yeah, string s is equal to new string. Okay, you can do like that. Let us say we have 4-digit string. The length of string is 4, 0 to 3, 0 to 3. The length is 4, and you need to define. Let us say languages you have different. You need to store different kind of languages inside string. So programming languages I'm talking about. So can you store lang 0? Can you assign the value like 0 over here? No, you cannot do that because this time you need to store string type of values. You cannot define like integer. You cannot assign integer to it. You need to assign an integer. So let us say C sharp. Okay, C sharp, or you can directly write it like C hash. Yeah. And the other language we have is, for an example, let us say Java. Okay, and you need to how many value can store it more, like two more values. Okay, because 0 to 4 we need to store. Also, let us say if you need to store j1 language third, so third language would be, let us say, Python. Okay, and one more language we can store, language, the index number is 3 and the value is fourth. Let us say Angular. Okay, so these are the values, these are the programming languages that you have stored inside this variable. Okay, correct, cool. Okay, now if you need to print this, you can print in such a way, like let us say console dot write line. Can you do like this? Language 0 plus language 1. Can you write like this? Yes, of course, this will concatenate these two values, C sharp and Java. Would be there any space? No. The value would be printed without space because we are not taking any like space in concatenation. Let us analyze the output. So the execution results would be like C sharp Java without any space value. Let's wait for the output and we are going to get, yes, this got executed and the output is C sharp Java. Correct? Okay. Now, if you want to get all these values with the help of, let us say, for loop, not for each loop. If you want to get for each and every value using for loop, then just write for, double tap. This the syntax would get generated. Okay, and let us say n, any variable n plus plus. Yeah. So now, as I told you that you need to take length. So how will you calculate the length? Lang dot length. Okay, this is how you will get the length of this and just print it. Console dot write line and print the values of n. You need to print the values of n or something else. How will you write it? Not n, because otherwise this will print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to give it in array format. Lang n. Okay, now the first iteration, the value of n would be 0. Lang 0 is C sharp, and this will increase the value, enhance the value a by 1. So the latest value of n is 2. 2 is less than length is 5, 4, sorry. So 2 is less than 4, yes, this will come over here. Lang 2, language 2 is over like Java, Python, and all. So this should get printed. Okay, let us execute it and see like the results are correct or not. Yes, we printed like C sharp, Java, Python, and Angular. Okay. Now, if you do the same task using for each loop, then it's far easy. Sorry, we need to use for each this time. Okay. So using for each, this is a string. So this time we are taking this as a string. Let us say item, or you can take it E. And this time the collection name is, what is the collection name over here? So we have defined this is like lang. This is your reference variable or collection name in which all the values are present. Simply print all these values. Okay, print all these values. Again execute the program and let us see what is the output. So you again get like C sharp, Java, Python, and Angular. Yeah. So this is how you may calculate the values. Okay. Now let us say you also want to print the indexing with the output, like you get like 0, which language is present at which index. Just like C sharp is present at 0th index, Java is present at first index, Python is at second. So if you want to do like that, then what you need to do is just simply put, let us say, change here only. This would be our index. You may do it in like both of the things. Let us try to do it in first one. And we'll give our index number with each iteration plus, okay, add and separator, or you can say, okay, semicolon, whatever, and use the concatenation operator again. Okay, now what the output will get from this for loop, will get 0 and the value of that C sharp, will get 1, the value of that would be Java, 2, the value of that would be Python. Okay, this is how we should get the output with the index number. Okay. So yeah, you can see 0 C sharp, 1 Java, 2 Python, 3 Angular. This is how you can get these output. Sure. So it's easy as you can. So yeah, I already have explained you like how to get that value along with the index number. So this one more assignment for you. So thank you, Aswini, for doing the assignment yesterday. So you did it very well. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking a little bit time out. This will really give you confidence. Yeah. So the next assignment for you is that just like I printed all the values along with the index number, you need to do the same thing using for each loop. Okay. Print all the values just like I'm doing, but along with that index number, like 0 Java, 1 Python, 2, just like that you need to do. Okay. So please note down this assignment. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, so this is all about the array concept. So I hope you have understood very clearly like what is array and how to define these values. But like there are some limitations of this array. Okay, there are some limitations of this array. So the first limitation I would like to mention over here is that the size is always fixed. Size is fixed. Every time the size is fixed, so that is the limitation of it. We need to define the size like it's 4 or 5 or 10, like, so that makes is like no use, because like if I talk about the real time, in real time scenario, let me open this to explain you. So maybe like you have for an example, Amazons are using this array. So like Amazon on September, maybe they are having like 50 projects, because 50 products in their site. In the month of September or October, there is no as kind of sale or any festival. So the sale is left. Let us say in September they have 50 products. Okay, but like in December they need to add 50 more products, because in December their sale goes increased, and they need to add 50 more products, so the total number of product will be 100. But if you will use static array at the time, if the developers of Amazon will start using uh, like they will like assign only 50 arrays initially. Okay, in the memory they have took space for 50. So they have like declared the variable like this: new, let us say string kind of product they have, they will use 50. Okay, but what happened in like in near future, in the December month, the product has been increased. So this way they cannot store more values, more product inside this in their program, because this application has, as you know, that everything in background running the program only, nothing else. So like they cannot store more values inside this in the month of December. So for that, if they want to add some more values on their portal, more products on their portal, so they need to open their program, their application, and change the variable from 50 to 100. They need to change it. So is it possible every time? If they'll do like this, then what will happen, this will take like 15 to 20 minutes, because they will access the code, change the data type. This will take 15 to 20 minutes. So for 15 to 20 minutes, then they will deploy this on production, like we have increased the value of our array. So at that time, the the entire like the for 15 to 20 minutes, the Amazon would be like, we can say, stop, we need to stop the application for the production deployments. So there would be business loss to Amazon. So we cannot use these static array over there, because as I told you that otherwise this will like create mess. Or for an example, in the month of let's say Fab, there is no as much sale, so they need to remove some of their product from the website. Okay, and in Fab they just want to keep like 60 products only, but like they have defined it to 100. Now they are storing only 60 product, so the like 40 memory, or we can say like 40 is empty. We have took 100 size of array, we are storing only 60s. So like the 40 integer values would be kind of empty over there. So one integer is of 4 byte, so 40 into 4, like this much of memory would be waste inside it, and the performance of the application would be slow. If we'll search for let us say MacBook Air, then the result will be come definitely, but it will take time to reflect, because like unexpectedly or unrequired memory is there inside that. So like I just want to explain you is that like these have some limitation, the size is fixed, so we cannot use these kind of values at the real time when like Amazon developers are working or not. Okay, so this was the first limitation. So how to overcome this? So to overcome this problem, we need to use array list. Okay, array list is a concept that can like solve this problem easily. In the array list, in our next topic is, or we also call them like array list. Let us say array list or dynamic array. Till now we were studying like static array, and this is dynamic array. Okay, so in dynamic array, we can define the values at runtime. Like if you want to store 10 inside that, okay, that will store 10 memory inside that. Okay, that will occupy only 10 memory. If you want to store only two values, if you want to increase the value by 50, so all these things can be achieved using dynamic array, not the static array. In static array, this is a limitation. Every time you need to put the number of like values that you can store, but in case of dynamic array you need not to define. Let us say tomorrow if you want to, this is a dynamic array, you have stored 100 of values so far. Let us say in the month of like next month there are like they need to add some more product. So using dynamic array, they don't need to change their program again and again. The static or like the dynamic array is written in such a way that will automatically occupy some space for that extra product that they are using. Or let us say in the month, in other month they want to reduce some product. Okay, they want to reduce some product, so they will be automatically removed from there, and again no need to change the variable type or like the array that we have declared. So this is the best use of array. So as I told you that we have limitation over here, size is fixed, and to overcome this problem, let us say to overcome this problem, use dynamic array. Or dynamic array means array list. Okay, now this was all about the first limitation of array. The second limitation of array, did you notice, is that we can store only similar type of data with this. If you have declared the integer is like integer, this array is an integer, then you can store only integer values. But like tomorrow, like there is there any case like is there any facility I can store like 20 or 10 if I want to store like any product like MacBook. Okay, and if you want to store something like shoes in a single array, because otherwise this would be limiting. In an integer array I need to define more arrays. In one array I will define this will store integer like some kind of value, this will store string kind of value, this will take some characters. So this is the limitation of our array, that we can store only similar type of data. Okay, but to overcome this, like we will also I'll also explain you that like to overcome this we can use objects. Okay. Let me write it over here. So the second limitation that we just discussed is that similar type of data we can store. Similar type of data. Okay, so we can store only similar type of data. But like I need to store, as I explain you that, let me explain it again. Let us say in this array you can store only integer kind of value. So that is limiting kind of limitation for us. Okay, you can store only integer 0, 10, 20, 30, and 40. But my requirement is like that I want to store, let us say Ankit over here, and let us say 200 over here. Let us say Jassi over here. Okay, and let us say like any single line character over here. So I need to store these kind of value. Then I cannot use array at that time. For that I may use object. Okay, so just like string, just like we are using string is a class in C sharp. Similarly, object is also a kind of class in C sharp. Let us understand this. I explain you that object class, or you can use it object array. Basically we are studying the object array. Okay, so the thing can be overcome this limitation. To overcome this problem we use dynamic array, and to overcome this issue, okay, similar type of data, to overcome this, use object array. How to use object array? Let me explain you. So let's understand the object array. Object array is very simple. Just write object class, okay, and similarly define it an array type. Let us say employee. You need to store employee, okay, and yeah, new object array is equal to new object. Let us say we need to define its size as 4. So this is the syntax of an object array. This is similar to the string. Okay, just instead of string you just need to use object. Now if you need to assign the values to employee, let us say employee 0 is, let us say Tom. Okay, now if you want to assign the values, let us say 25 to each. Yes, you can do that. This have such an facility. If you need to assign a character, let us say M, yes, you can do that as well. Let us say if you need to assign some decimal values, let us say 12.33, yeah, you can do that as well. Okay, so can add multiple values, right? You can, but remember this is still an static array. Because why this is an static array? Because we cannot store more than 4 values inside this. We need, this is a static kind of thing that we have imposed over here. Like this is still limited, so that's why we are calling it static array. But yeah, we can like assign any kind of values over here. Let us print this and analyze if it's working fine or not. So let's put it like war over here. War will take any kind of variable to this, and the collection is, let us say emp. Okay, let's say item. Let's keep it as item only, and print console.writeLine. Okay, so you need to print the item. What are the items present inside this? Execute the program and analyze the output. Okay, yeah, so I hope we get the output. You see, Tom 25, M 12.33. We got all these kind of output for this. That means our second problem is resolved. That there is no need to assign the similar type of data. But the first problem is still there, that this is a static array. We cannot assign, like if you want to store employee 4, then this will not allowed, and there would be index out of range exception. Got it? And you may think like that. For that amazing example, we can store values like this string. Let us say products. Products, yeah, is equal to, you can say, let us, we can store like 500 over here, so that anytime if they want to have some less or let us say product. We don't need to store string over here. We were storing. Yeah, let us say, yeah, instead of beers, let's say product. We have 500 product over here. So you may assign the values to products just like this. If this is 0, let us say MacBook Pro. Okay. And let us say product 1 is MacBook. Let us say Air. Okay. So you may store the values like this, and let's like put other values as empty. But like this would be an as I already have explained you that if you have declared in arrays like 500, that length is of 500, but you are storing only two values, then what about the space of other 498? What about that? So that would be waste inside the memory. So that is the limitation. That's why we need to use the dynamic array. Okay. So yeah, that is kind of limitation for this. If you are assigning 500, then you need to declare 500 values inside this, and that would be a complete mess. Okay. So for that, we need to explore the dynamic array. So I think this is enough for this session. Tomorrow I'll explain you the dynamic array from an like fresh session. Tomorrow, like we'll try to have one because this is bit lengthy topic, and I would like to conclude in a single session. So might be like more than 1 hour class, maybe 1.5 hour class. We'll try to have tomorrow. So this is enough for this class, guys. If you have any question, then you may ask. Other than like I hope you guys have holiday today. So we'll meet tomorrow.